Imagine this for a moment. You are standing at a crossroads, facing a situation that challenges your patience, tests your endurance, or provokes your deepest emotions. In that instant, you are confronted with a choice. You can act immediately, driven by the surge of emotions, the impulsive reactions that often dominate human behavior. Or you can pause, observe, and choose a response that is deliberate, grounded in reason, aligned with your values, and guided by wisdom. This choice, though it may seem subtle, holds the power to transform not only the outcome of this moment, but the course of your entire life. It is the essence of what Stoicism teaches, the art of responding rather than reacting. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emerged in the bustling streets of Athens and found its enduring expression in the minds of Roman thinkers, offers timeless guidance for cultivating a life of clarity, composure, and reasoned action. For centuries, Stoics have emphasized that while we cannot control the external events of our lives, we have absolute control over our own thoughts, choices, and reactions. The challenge, then, is not to alter the world around us, but to train our minds to navigate it with wisdom and equanimity. When we speak of responding versus reacting, we are addressing the fundamental difference between instinct and intention. Reaction is immediate. It is automatic, often triggered by emotion before reason has had its say. Reaction is raw, unfiltered, and though natural, often destructive. It can escalate conflict, harm relationships, and erode the peace of mind that is essential for clarity and effectiveness. Response, on the other hand, is deliberate. It is informed by reason, tempered by reflection, and guided by principles rather than impulse. It is the act of exercising control over oneself even in the face of provocation or adversity. Consider for a moment a scenario many of us encounter. A heated disagreement at work, a critical comment from a loved one, or a sudden challenge that threatens to throw your day into chaos. Your natural instinct may be to argue, lash out, or shut down. That is reaction. But what if, instead, you paused, just for a moment, to observe your feelings, to examine the situation from multiple perspectives, and to choose a course of action aligned with your values? This is response. It is the essence of Stoic mastery. The Stoics believe that the mind, when properly trained, can act as a fortress of calm and reason. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, reminded himself repeatedly that the only thing truly within his control was his own mind, his perceptions, his judgments, and his choices. Epictetus, born a slave yet attaining wisdom beyond his circumstances, declared that it is not the events themselves that disturb us, but our interpretations of them. Seneca, the Roman statesman, reflected that human suffering is often the product of our inability to govern our internal reactions. Across these thinkers, one principle emerges with clarity. To cultivate a life of resilience, peace, and virtue, we must train ourselves to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This training is neither simple nor immediate. It is a lifelong practice that requires awareness, discipline, and the cultivation of certain key habits. Let us explore these practices, beginning with self-awareness. Self-awareness is the cornerstone of Stoic response. It is the ability to observe one's own thoughts, emotions, and impulses without immediately being swept away by them. When you are aware of your internal state, you gain the ability to intervene in your own reactions. You notice the onset of anger, frustration, fear, or disappointment before these emotions take full control. You recognize the triggers, the habitual patterns that often drive reaction, and you create a space where choice becomes possible. Self-awareness can be cultivated through simple practices of reflection. Begin by asking yourself each day, what emotions am I experiencing? What thoughts dominate my mind? Are my reactions aligned with my values, or are they driven by impulse? Journaling, meditation, and quiet contemplation are powerful tools for deepening self-awareness. By observing your own mind with honesty and curiosity, you create the conditions necessary for deliberate action. Closely linked to self-awareness is the practice of pausing. The space between stimulus and response is where freedom exists. In the heat of the moment, there is always a choice, a brief interval, often only a few seconds, where you can step back, breathe, and consult your reason. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the value of this pause. He knew that in the instant between provocation and reaction lies the opportunity to act in accordance with virtue. This pause, though small, is transformative. It allows you to consider the consequences of your actions, to choose what is truly effective, and to act in harmony with your principles. Pausing is not about suppression or denial of emotions. It is not pretending that feelings do not exist. On the contrary, it is an acknowledgement of their presence, an understanding of their origin, and a decision regarding how much influence they should have over your actions. It is the deliberate integration of emotion and reason, resulting in behavior that is both authentic and constructive. Another essential practice in the art of responding is reframing. Stoics understood that the interpretation of events is far more important than the events themselves. A challenge, setback, or criticism can be viewed as a threat, eliciting fear or anger. Or it can be seen as an opportunity, an occasion to grow, to learn, and to demonstrate resilience. Reframing is the act of consciously choosing the lens through which you perceive life's circumstances. It is a skill that transforms adversity into advantage, turning obstacles into lessons. To illustrate, consider a workplace conflict. A colleague publicly criticizes your work. Your immediate reaction may be defensiveness, anger, or humiliation. Yet if you pause, observe your internal state, and reframe the situation, you might see it as an opportunity to gain clarity on your own approach, to improve your skills, or to practice humility and patience. Reframing shifts your perspective, reducing the emotional charge and allowing a response that is measured, thoughtful, and aligned with your long-term goals. Central to Stoic thought is the principle of focusing on what is within your control. External events are unpredictable, often beyond our influence, and largely indifferent to our desires. What is within our power, however, is our own mind, our judgments, intentions, and actions. When we invest energy in controlling the uncontrollable, we invite frustration, regret, and anxiety. When we focus on our own responses, we cultivate effectiveness, serenity, and agency. Practically, this means accepting that other people's behavior, the state of the world, and unforeseen events are beyond your ultimate control. What you can control is your attention, your interpretation, and your choice of action. This does not imply passivity. Stoicism does not encourage indifference or disengagement. Rather, it emphasizes intentional action where it truly matters, guided by reason and virtue. Mindfulness, a practice increasingly recognized in modern psychology, dovetails seamlessly with Stoic principles. To respond rather than react requires full presence, attention to the moment, and conscious engagement with both internal and external realities. Mindfulness exercises, such as focused breathing, body scans, or simply observing one's thoughts without judgment, cultivate this awareness. By developing the capacity to remain present, we become less susceptible to automatic reactions and more capable of measured, thoughtful responses. Consider, for instance, the act of listening. In conversations, it is common for individuals to react impulsively, interrupting, defending, or countering before fully hearing the other person. Mindfulness allows us to slow down, to fully register the words, emotions, and intentions of others, and then to respond with clarity, empathy, and reason. This practice, rooted in Stoic awareness, strengthens relationships, fosters understanding, and prevents the unnecessary escalation of conflict. Another practice that reinforces the responsive mind is deliberate reflection. The Stoics engaged in daily self-examination, reviewing their actions, thoughts, and decisions. At the end of each day, they would ask themselves, did I act according to my principles? Did I allow emotion to override reason? What can I learn from today's experiences to improve tomorrow? This reflective habit cultivates continuous growth, reinforcing the patterns of response over reaction. Journaling is a practical tool for this reflection. By writing down your experiences, responses, and emotions, you externalize the inner dialogue, observe patterns, and gain insights into areas where you may fall into habitual reactivity. Over time, this practice builds mental discipline, resilience, and the capacity to respond thoughtfully under pressure. Importantly, responding rather than reacting is not about moral perfection. It is not about eliminating emotion, suppressing spontaneity, or becoming detached from life. It is about alignment, aligning your actions with your values, your intentions with your principles, and your responses with reason. Emotions are natural and valuable. They provide information, motivation, and depth to human experience. The Stoic approach is to integrate them into a framework of rational action, channeling them productively rather than being controlled by them. To bring these practices into daily life, consider creating intentional routines. Begin your day with a reflection on your intentions. Remind yourself of your commitment to respond thoughtfully across all contexts. Set mental cues to pause and observe before reacting. Engage in brief mindfulness exercises throughout the day to maintain presence and clarity. At the day's end, review your responses, celebrate successes, and learn from instances where reactivity prevailed. By embedding these practices into your daily rhythm, you make the art of response habitual rather than exceptional. Let us revisit a concrete scenario. Imagine receiving an email that is unnecessarily critical, perhaps even harshly worded. Your first instinct may be irritation or defensiveness. A reactive approach could involve a sharp reply, escalating tension. A responsive approach, however, begins with awareness, noticing your emotions, acknowledging your initial impulse, and pausing. You might then reframe the email as an opportunity to clarify expectations, to engage constructively, or to model professionalism and composure. The choice of response, guided by reflection and reason, produces an outcome aligned with your values rather than momentary emotions. Stoicism also emphasizes the long-term perspective. Immediate reactions often prioritize short-term relief or satisfaction at the expense of lasting well-being. By cultivating response over reaction, we prioritize outcomes consistent with virtue, integrity, and enduring personal growth. Each deliberate response strengthens character, reinforces discipline, and contributes to a life of meaningful action. The benefits of responding thoughtfully extend beyond the self. When we respond, rather than react, we improve the quality of our interactions. We model patience, understanding, and empathy. We foster trust, respect, and collaboration. Our calm and reasoned presence can diffuse tension, inspire others, and create an environment where constructive dialogue flourishes. In this way, the practice of response is not merely personal, it ripples outward, influencing communities, relationships, and society. Let us also acknowledge the challenges of this path. Life is unpredictable, emotions are powerful, and triggers are often subtle and persistent. Even the most disciplined individuals may occasionally react impulsively. The Stoic approach recognizes this reality. It is not the occasional misstep that defines us, but the continual commitment to reflection, correction, and growth. Every moment presents a new opportunity to practice, to pause, to choose, and to respond with intention. Training the mind to respond rather than react is ultimately an exercise in freedom. Reaction is slavery to impulse. Response is mastery of self. It is freedom from the tyranny of immediate sensation, from the compulsion to act unconsciously. By cultivating awareness, practicing mindfulness, reflecting on experience, and applying reason, we claim this freedom and direct our lives with purpose and clarity. In conclusion, the journey toward a responsive mind is profound. It calls for patience, persistence, and dedication. It requires daily practice, honest reflection, and a willingness to confront one's own impulses. Yet the rewards are immense. Resilience in the face of adversity, clarity in decision-making, harmony in relationships, and the cultivation of virtue. The Stoics walk this path with diligence, and their wisdom endures, guiding us to navigate life with calm, composure, and conscious choice. Remember, every moment is an opportunity. Every challenge is a test of character. Every reaction is a chance to transform into a response. By embracing the Stoic philosophy of deliberate action and mindful engagement, you train your mind to respond, not react. You develop a life anchored in reason, guided by virtue, and enriched by awareness. This is the essence of Stoic mastery, a life of purpose, freedom, and thoughtful action in a world often dominated by impulse. As you leave this reflection today, carry this principle with you. In every encounter, every decision, every moment of tension or uncertainty, ask yourself, will I react or will I respond? This simple question, posed repeatedly throughout life, is the gateway to wisdom, resilience, and true self-mastery. Embrace the practice. Cultivate the awareness. Pause, reflect, and choose. And in doing so, transform your mind, your life, and the world around you.